Oh, yeah.
Engineering model.
You're doing great. This is how people take credit for your efforts.
See how it's nothing like.
So to give you a background of what I'm going to read, so when we left St. John's, Canada, we stayed there for exactly a year. We left that date I've given you, July 28th. It was exactly a year and just some days. So when we went to the States, I couldn't work. And here, it's not real that, both parents don't work. So we decided I go back to Canada because that's where I could work. I had a work permit. So that was the first time I was leaving my children. You know how us mothers, we are so entitled to our children, like, how can you separate me, And I said, I'm only going on condition I become rich. So I was approaching this place with the mindset of wealth. Also, Dad didn't like his job here in the States. We didn't feel like States was, But when you read this story, you'll realize States, I saw States when I was being bullied by some kids because I said my father lives in the States, but I had actually never seen my father. It was a nice tale to spin because, we are book readers. We can pick and decide which characters we are.
Yeah.
So I had just discovered America through books, and it turns out God actually wanted us. And that's the same year I met my dad. So anyway, we decided I'd go back to New Brunswick. I don't know why I felt embarrassed, but I did, going back alone. I felt like my husband had rejected me. We were also not doing very well. It was about making money and taking care of our children. And I was surprised to know that is the life here. Because home wasn't like that. But then home wasn't giving us what we needed, right? So the journey to seek greener pastures is like this. For certain generations, you guys are the blessed generations. So whatever you guys and your children touch will be so much greater. But I feel like for our age, it's important to tell these stories. You may wonder, why are you struggling so much in this America? Because we are paying a price. Like I've said, the places we've gone through, if my children or our grandchildren decide I'm going to live in Dieppe, your grandma paid a price. I was so mistreated in Dieppe, but when they step in, nobody will dare because they'll be the grandkids of Lutz. Yeah. So that's why we pay very, very heavy prices. So you guys, when you see sometimes your mom struggle, just know, she's there, she's the one, fighting these battles. All right. So the place is still called Dieppe, New Brunswick. I chose this place for the beautiful name, but I didn't realize it chose me too. Okay. Dad suggested it. I had been looking for work, for where to go, because I didn't want to go back to St. John's. It's too far away. And then one day he said, my friends have been going to this place called New Brunswick. So I went into the maps. I saw Moncton, then I saw Dieppe. I thought, so nice. But also the airport is in Dieppe. There's also another Dieppe in France, but yeah, it's the name that got me. I chose this place for the beautiful name, but I didn't realize it chose me too. It was close to the Greater Moncton Romeo LeBlanc Airport, 15 minutes from the house I had rented a room in. I was aware I could go to any part of Canada, but I didn't want to go back to St. John's. So I kept applying for work in other provinces until one day, after work, I'm saying something that I had already written. After work, Peter had told me to try New Brunswick, as many of his friends had moved there after studies in St. John's. And the friends had liked the province better than St. John's. I applied for jobs there and got a response. The only place they seemed ready and willing to hire me. I spent time checking out the place from the maps, and it seemed so nice and calm with many tourist attractions. I would have many things to do in my free time there. I arrived tired after an uneventful flight over. I was mostly sad, and the layover in Toronto was chilly and annoying, but went by very fast. I caught the connecting flight, a tiny plane accommodating about 70 passengers, only to be asked, has this ever happened to you, by a couple to give up my window seats for them, which I did as I didn't care, but they gave me a tiny bag of chocolate-covered almonds to compensate. I just sat there feeling so out of it. I would have preferred to keep my window seat so I could look outside at the clouds and get a bird's eye view of the town where I would be landing, but it was all right. I could allow someone some comfort since I didn't have it myself. When we touched down at the small airport, I caught a cab just outside the airport and listened politely as the cab driver chatted about the sudden cold weather, which indicated there would be snow later, even though it hadn't snowed since 2 weeks before. It was mid-November and cold as ever. How had I not factored that in? I could actually see the last of the snow piles by the roadside, all muddied up. I looked outside the window as the cab sped away from the airport, wanting to see my surroundings. This place was not half bad. It was, well, Canada. Before I knew it, I was at my address and alighted as the driver helped me with my bags, and I walked towards the house, resigned. I was finally here, had arrived safely, and that's counted for something, I guess. Sorry. It was chilly and the clouds were grey and heavy. I'm not one to predict weather and get engrossed guessing if it will rain or snow, especially not when I'm in my feelings. The front door was closed as far as I could see, the bell broken, and the screen door shut. I went to the back and found a note at the door saying that the owner had gone to the vet. Perhaps I should have tried opening, but my East African politeness and my central Kenyan trauma from stern parenting would not have me, a stranger, opening people's doors. So I returned to the front yard to wait by the door. Suddenly, it started snowing. I took pictures and videos to send to my family later, but my fingers got so cold that I had to shift my focus to the weather. I had forgotten how cold Canada was. When the tears started, they wouldn't stop, and I felt so sad. I felt so rejected and abandoned. I cried for everything and everyone I had left behind. I missed my family, and I missed Mike. Oh, oops. Mike was in this cold too, somewhere, even perhaps colder, alone, and probably broke. Oh, my poor baby. If he could brave this cold in order to pursue his dreams, so could I. So I prayed, and I asked God to send the landlady home. At some point, not even 2 minutes later, I swear I had a dog barking from inside the house. I heard a voice inside urging me to try the front door again. Why was it open this time? Was I dreaming? Hadn't I tried both the screen and the front door, and they were locked? I cannot understand why I didn't figure this out, but the lady had closed both, so I could use the back door. And she must have wondered why I was so stupid as to stand in the snow just waiting. So when I realized I wouldn't go in, she came downstairs with her dog. I gave it a name, the tiny white fluffy dog, to open the front door, but was too angry to talk to me. Again, there was that note at the back door stating what I should do, right? I guess her plan was to wait until Maurice, her husband, came home to let me in and take my payment. Finding the door lock now miraculously open, I brought in my suitcases, all speckled with snow. I felt bad coming in through the living room with my wet sneakers, but I really had no choice as I made my way through, noting the stairs on the right, but I wasn't going to venture upstairs. My plan was to wait somewhere around the living room and beyond, perhaps until someone came to show me around. Beyond the living room was the kitchen and a tiny dining table. I walked through the kitchen to the room there. I walked through the kitchen to the room there, only to find a door ajar and the room laid out exactly how I saw in the photo. This was my room. I went back to the living room and brought my bags in. I checked the living room out. I'm doing badly. I need water. I checked the room out. It was satisfactory. Even had a dresser and a hanging closet with a mini fridge tucked away at a corner. The bed was covered in extremely old linen, and there was a stool with a tray on it and a set of 1 plates, bowl, cup, silverware for one, all laid out. On the opposite corner was an old TV set on a tiny round table. This was okay, honestly. I went out through the kitchen again and turned into, wait, I'll jump a bit. Outside my room was the door, oh, thank you. Outside my room was the door leading to the backyard. See, I should have used this door and just walked into my room, but I was being slow. Right opposite the back door was stairs going downstairs towards a basement. And I went there, assuming that that's where the laundry machine would be located, and I was right. I was tired too, and I needed someone to appear and get me situated. I went back to the room, and soon enough I could hear some heavy footsteps approaching the door. So I sprang up and went to meet Mr. Morris, and I found myself looking at a heavy-set fellow with a kind face and funny mustache, and I saw he was all toothless when he finally opened his mouth. He had the air of an affectionate granddad, if I ever saw one. He was warm and welcoming, said he'd only charge me till the end of the month, about 7 to 10 days away. I really don't remember the date I went to DF. I do remember the emotions though. So why, let me stop there. Why I chose that to read for you? Because I stayed in that house for a month. The lady was very bitter, and I don't say this to talk about her, but a few weeks in, I realized these people were really suffering in their marriage. It was their second marriage also, and they really hated people, but they had to rent out the rooms, so they would like keep peeping through the window, who just came home so early, what's wrong with them, you know? They really hated being around people. Together they were they had that, you know, they were okay in their toxicity, you know, but every time it's like, even without will, like they would try so much to do good, but it's like everything was set against them, you know. Like today they'll be like, oh Margaret, I saw something you like, you know, like they bought me a wok just because I used to make really nice fried rice and a pan, because I used to make an omelette and share it with the guy because he would be around. I'm African, I don't know how to not share, and he would be like, oh my gosh, she made the very best omelette, not knowing he's annoying the lady so much. Maybe he knew, but he was like, nothing is coming between me and this omelette. But I'm saying that to say they had of course tried in their first marriage. While I was there, the lady would sometimes wake me up at 4, 5, I can't sleep, please pray for me. And I was like, who am I? You know, like I don't even know how to pray well. But one scripture that you'll find appearing here a lot, Isaiah 54. I shared it with mom too. I shared it with everyone. And we would go line by line, and I would say, are you feeling better now? Can you sleep? Her son's marriage was also breaking. So it's no shock later that when I realized I went through all these places, would meet married couples suffering so much so that the two coming together doesn't give them joy. You know how we are like, this relationship is not working, let me jump on to the next one. Yeah. And we always think that our situations are so unique, but people are going through the same things. But what do they do about that, you know? And if you're hey na you
Chani songe.
karibu ukava ulikuwa mfupi kunishinda
Leo tu.
you must be.
How are you?
Welcome. I'm good. You?
Hi everyone. I am Mama Misha.
She's the one.
You guys are doing a lot of a better job.
No, this is fine. I was just like had sugar and milk. So a lot of marriages are going through the most, and when we come here abroad especially, we are like, I think the world is so different, the people are so different, whoever I left there is not giving. So I'm gonna get someone new in whatever it is that we feel we can do. Sometimes that's the path you must take. Realize that whatever I have is not working, it will never will, because it's about changing ourselves, you know, the renewal of our mind, right? It says that in the Bible. And it also says something about, you know, the inner man sharpening the outer man. God doesn't make a different Michelle. He just, you know, levels you up. So when you level up, you find that there's a whole other world, and that goes for everything. Our studies, our family, you know. I used to be a yeller as a mom. I still yell, but I think I'm able to calm down and say, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Is it me who else?
God is so accommodating. He would make a toxic mom out of me. You understand? So having so one thing after that period, I stayed there for like 6 months. We didn't know it, but God was letting dad know what it feels to raise kids on your own. He saw the drama.
So cool.
And I was getting to understand the kind of life he lived, and I was feeling like it's unfair, because hadn't I seen that in St. John's walking? And he never told me those stories that he walks to save money for a cab. The sacrifices he used to make, and I would really yell, as we get so fearful when we are left behind. We become so ugly. You know how even your sins will show in your face. There's no glow. You're just there's nothing attractive about you, because all you do is yell. So it's by the mercies of God that he would repair a people like us. Tosh has read the books. He's so shocked I didn't use an alias. I wanted to. This was 7 years. I wanted to, but I feel like that decision was removed from my hands. It looks very convenient when I say God did, but I feel like one day, even though I've never been successful in the things I've done before, but I feel like one day we will be known, because we are not ordinary people. None of us is. We are chosen people. And I was telling some people the other day, God doesn't choose the best to relocate. He chooses the most obedient, the most willing. So if God wants to make an example of men like you, that you're good men, and I have seen you guys even in your relationships, you know, if God has chosen us, because we kept waiting for a girl, but he was giving us boys, and now I see what God does with men. When we women become empowered and we have money, we don't respect that man, and it's not a respect that should come automatically, because love comes first. You know, it's about submitting to each other. You submit because you understand, even though this person has weaknesses, they have this person that God has given me as a gift, and then explore the gift for the rest of your life, you know, because it's whatever God does, whatever God gives us is beautiful, you know, and there's so much wealth in that. We would have concluded our story like so many years, maybe what? Maybe it was around 15 years, because we couldn't see what else is there. There's so much. I like this guy. I like more than now. No, I like his vibe. I know you guys will be saying, obviously, we know his vibe. You know, he's a cool guy. But no, really, I have realized, for some people, being a dad, like she says, it's a calling. When something is a calling, it's not obvious. It's not something you read out of a book. You're just who you are, you know, and who you are is a calling, and it's so important, because God will do so much with a submitted heart, just like Abraham. When I arrived in St. John's, God revealed this guy is Abraham. So I was like, am I Sarah? Because I don't like the character so much.
Daniel. Yeah.
The brief of the matter, I missed my family a lot because in 2009, when I was starting my masters, there was really there was not good communication like people have right now. So I was heavily reliant on buying this calling card. I can never forget its name. It was called Giant.
Oh.
This one was called Giant in Canada. And then you have to find a phone that is actually compatible with it. So the phones they had, we only realized much later that the phones they had in our grad rooms could work, but you had to press like +11, then you'd have to dial outside of the campus, which was 9 and something, and then put that number. But the problem with that is sometimes the phone would go through, but then it would charge the university, and then the university would start hunting for whoever with the international. How many people from Kenya? Yeah, just me. So it's like, here is your $75 bill. What? $75 for a 30 minutes call. He was like, nah.
And you're like 7,500 Kenyan shillings.
Exactly. So this was like, now I'm just gonna use a payphone, Bell Alliant, which was like the only the only people with the phones, and so that was awesome. And then I think a few months into it, I was very homesick. I missed my family so bad. It was so difficult. The cold, then you don't really have, I don't want to say friends, but even the colleagues that you have, they were very focused in whatever they were doing. So apart from the international student advising, which would give us like 1 week where we would meet like in 4 p.m. and then we just vent and share stuff, and we had people with even more problems. There were people from Iraq and from Afghanistan and all these other international places that were going through a lot more than I could claim to be going through. Other than missing my family, I wasn't like worried about my, some explosion happening in a hospital where your family is in and stuff like that. So it kind of brings things into perspective that we all have our concerns and we all worry about things, but relative to what other people are worried about, like we were with Mike the other day speaking me up, and we are complaining about traffic, and this ambulance is passing, and you're like, there's somebody in that ambulance fighting for his life, right?
Yeah.
But we are here wondering, why is this idiot not moving? The light is green, right? Yeah. So in perspective, you just need to give people the chance. I nowadays I try to go with somebody must be really having a really bad day for them to treat me in a certain way. So I give them that benefit of the doubt, and I feel like when I started doing that, even the stress is gone. The stress is gone. All these things you start wondering, because there's a lot of racial profiling in the US, and some of it is really silent, but some of it is like questionably, like, why did you ask me that? Why did you do that? And in our workplace, in academia, it's even worse, because you don't know whether somebody is questioning you because actually that is a valid question, or they're just wondering, how come you know this and I don't know this? So anyways, to be brief, I feel like I've talked more than the author.
Really?
No, I'm finishing. I miss my family a lot, and Giant, the calling card, made it happen. And then a few months later, Skype came to the rescue. And so now you could see, I could see my babies and be happy about, immediately. Yes, Skype was wonderful. It saved our lives. And then I made sure that every other year I would travel to Kenya and sometimes send gifts even when I'm not going, right? And then they would arrive in a weird
He got us like tablets and he came in like just glass. Where's the camera? Where's the battery?
Yeah, you're right. So
Thank you for that.
that's it.
Then we have the first one.
Yes.
Yes.
Same story.
No, a different question.
Why do you want
Different
to
question.
same story?
Yeah. What I do understand from talking to people and seeing the stories of people who one parent leaves and then the kids stay with one parent. We know the separation is difficult, but the unique thing about you guys is you guys had to go through it twice in an opposite way. You being quote unquote old enough to understand, because even kids still see and they understand in their own kids' perspective. But like you as a, at least you can kind of sort of understand life at that time. And then now when it happened the second time, you kind of could understand. Like, the question here is, what is the greatest thing you learned about each parent?
Whoa.
Yeah, one about each parent.
Trick question.
Yeah, that's about good things. Yeah, what's one great thing you learned about? Actually, no. Let me actually be more specific. What's one thing you learned about mom when you were with mom? What's one thing you learned about dad when you were with dad? Because I feel like at that time you can also like just understand the humanity of our parents. Yeah, that's why I asked that question, because you know there's a place where as kids your parents are your heroes.
Yeah.
They would not, even if they say the sky is blue because Jesus had a blue
They can
crayon,
hanky.
you believe it to some
At some
degree, yeah. But then when humanity sets in and you realize, oh wait, they're also not perfect, you know, they also mess up.
Be like,
That's why I'm asking that question. Yeah. What's one great thing about each of them in different periods?
So
Grab some,
Wow.
scratch it.
it's not that I'm thinking about it. It's just that I'm just recalling all the different moments that I felt how much I could rely on my parents specifically. So I remember when my mom left, when my dad left the first time. I remember we were just hanging out, and no, it was the second time actually. Yeah, and we were just hanging out at my shosho's place, and then he was just like, oh yeah, my dad is leaving tomorrow. And then I was like, oh, by the way, what time are you leaving tomorrow? And then he was like, oh, he's leaving at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. and tomorrow is not the same as 10 a.m. tomorrow. So me, when I heard that, I stopped bawling in tears. I'm just like, bro, what is this new information that no one asked for? Like, my shushu is trying to bembeleza me with some malenge. It was just like a whole show. So at that time, I remember my mom was holding my hand. She's like, it's okay. And then I started to remember when my dad left the first time, how she was just there for us. So I would say like my mom's support. And when I was... And for my dad, I think we haven't actually spent time apart from my dad, and it was just like from my mom. So yeah, so it's always been together. If my dad is there, we're all together. For me especially, because when I was studying in Canada, I was the one who was leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I would say actually a strength, like this both support me in different ways, but it's how like when my mom support system and my dad's support system is again it's not the same, but I'd say support for both of them. It's support. Like I always feel supported.
But we don't make it yoyote, but
Well, mimi nilikuwa boarding school hiyo stereotype fanya.
Makes
Nasikia
sense.
nilipelekwa KFC like.
Wacha tusikie kutoka kwa last one. Wacha tusikie last one.
Na bado upate ni swali ngumu hizo.
Mike,
the first time
the story more than you know.
That's
What's
what I'm
going on? I know.
Wait, let me say it again.
Okay, yeah, take
Give me another chance.
You know, like he was worried about me the whole time, and I saw him try so hard to be Mr. Dad at 5 years, in class 5. How old is that?
10.
10?
Yeah. 10, 11.
Yeah, so just trying to be so strong for his brothers and I, and it didn't make sense. He's a child, you know.
yeah.
And I've seen that also when we moved to the last house we were living.
314.
Yeah, these ones decided they're not working because are we slaves?
Because I was 14 years old.
As a kid in Kenya, so
Chores.
they were like forgetting.
We're talking about chores, not a job.
You know who went on working? Mike. I had to tell him, no, you're also a child of this family, you know? If your brothers don't work, you also don't have
There's a
to work.
joystick there.
Because You're a first
Hey
born.
Michelle, home ukifika
You're
hiyo
also a
sijui utalala.
child. You're actually more equal than them. You have more right to not do anything, you know. But I saw him take it so hard that he thought he has to protect me, and I felt like I'm failing because how have I not proven to my child that you know I can take care of you, you know. And also those first days of the calling card, you would talk to mostly me because either you know maybe it's during the day or something.
Or back to school.
Yeah, you wouldn't communicate as much, so that was very difficult. And I didn't have the presence of mind to say, "Oh, Dad called.
did you take the
He
phone
said
and
this about you, this about you." You know.
Yeah.
So all the firstborns, your children, allow yourselves to be loved. Yes.
Difficult
Absolutely.
task.
Eh?
Difficult task.
I know, I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah.
He told us he wanted to tell his version again.
Yeah.
Yes.
We circle
Back to my book.
He probably don't actually even like. I would just, he probably don't actually even remember so much.
Yeah.
Because that exactly what you explained.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to do.
There's too much going on.
Yeah, he can just give.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna start. Now he's gonna start bringing everything else now when he talks. So.
Yeah. And actually, you end up even managing a lot of people's emotions that you even forget to think, how do I feel? Who am I? You know? Who am I? Do I matter? It's everybody else, you know? Yeah. So my daddy tuko pamoja. Tuko pamoja. Lazima nikuulize bana. You also have to be asked something.
Alright, ask him now.
But honestly, go think about that question and actually humanize them and answer it for yourself. You know, because it will also allow you to like really reflect very specifically and be present.
Yeah, especially for the firstborn. They will need to know I can. And you guys love playing and dancing. You don't do it enough because you think you're president of family. Everything you have to have everything in order.
Yeah. All right. Gosh.
Yes.
The baby.
The two of
You
you.
love it.
The best friend lives.
Yes.
No, she doesn't know.
This is gonna be a fun question. A fun question because I love babies to be babies. I know you're not a baby, but because I love babies to be babies. But watching everybody in the house, right? You literally saw everybody go through whatever. Because you know when you're a last one, I can't say out of experience but out of observation that you just watch and then you just do your own thing because you're the baby.
Yeah.
But what allowed you to connect with everybody? Everybody has different personalities, right? But what allowed you to be a baby and connect with everybody else in the process of everything that was happening? Because it was a lot.
Yeah, that is a fun question. I think for me is I had the special opportunity to spend time individually with everyone. So when I was in Kenya with mom, when Baba was in Canada, Mike was in boarding, Tama was in boarding. So it was me and mom. She could, and you know, she has to take care of me. We go movies. I sit with her. She goes, go to the mall. So during that time,
It's all fun.
there's only so much you can, you know, I couldn't really know exactly what's going on, but I could really, my mom could talk to me even when you're talking to a baby. The baby doesn't understand, but at least we could connect. And in that sense, I got to connect with my mom. And
Movie director.
through that, I also got to spend time personally with Mike when you come home, or when you're in Ushago with Tamwa. And when we went to the US, it was me, Tamwa, and Baba. So I had my own moments with everyone individually, where they couldn't run away from me, and we had to connect.
Yes.
And through that, I got to understand what's happening without really, you know, I was still a baby.
No.
But like in Florida, I was 12, 13.
That's true.
I can't understand about what's happening, but it was good to talk to everyone.
It was fun.
Did you feel supported, or were you scared that your parents keep coming and going? Because I remember you were telling Mike, if I go to the air, it's like the exchange is happening. You did have Baba, now you won't have me. Do you remember feeling such things?
I remember being sad, and of course when you guys leave, I cry. Remember that time we were in the bakery and Mike was going to boarding.
Oh yeah, I have the photo.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he's going to
You're
be
like,
back in like
this
a
is
few
my
months.
wife.
But then I was sitting on the chair and tears are just falling. I'm like,
Your
"Mike,
tears?
he's
What?
gone
Yeah,
forever."
Mike went back to school.
The same happened with Tamor. When Tamor left, of course I was crying as well when he went to boarding. When Baba came back and leaves, I'm like, oh no, he's never coming back. And when Mom left, of course I'm crying as well.
Yeah.
But so I got to be with at least one person through it all, and you guys had time to be alone. So as the youngest one in this situation, it was nice to be able to have support from everyone constantly, while the rest are battling their own stuff alone. When Mike was in Canada alone, Baba was alone for how many years?
Many years.
And now,
Yes.
He was in college there.
As soon as we went
His
to,
first year of uni there, he was
we
alone.
went to Orlando in July.
You didn't tell people you were, Mike,
September.
you didn't tell people in your first year of uni you were alone in Canada?
I didn't know.
They know that.
Okay.
It was a mistake.
You know that, right?
Tell them you were like a psychology major or something.
Business.
Business.
I want to remember when they can say I actually had support constantly.
Mike, don't have people disrespect.
Alright. Are we all enjoying it so far?
Yes.
Have you all learned something new so far? Okay.
Same.
Alright, I'm gonna ask one last question to everybody now, like each of them. And then if you have things to add on, to ask, feel free, if you guys are still willing to answer. And then we can pray and call it a night, right?
Yeah.
And also don't forget to grab a book. That's exactly why we're here. Let's grab a book. Alright. So
You have
I'll
yours.
start with I'll start with Mike. Okay. Do you actually want to answer the question?
Give me time to think about
First
it.
one's denied
Okay.
trauma.
Alright. So we can give you like 2 seconds to think about it.
Okay.
And then you answer. Alright. So for dad, so I have heard you being complimented on your parenting skills as a dad, okay? And I know parents usually don't parents usually don't feel like they're doing a good job for a long time before they see the actual good job, even if they're told. And even I've seen, literally, like a lot of people don't see that they did a good job until when the kids are like adults, seeing like puri, you know. But even me, like knowing you guys, Nini, I have enjoyed watching you guys parent because I've seen your kids. I love your kids and I love you guys as well. So I've also seen you guys, dad and mom, a little bit. So for me, what I can ask is, for yourself as a dad, what do you think you're the most proud of?
As a dad,
Yes.
my children.
Outside of them. Yeah. But
What
like,
is outside?
okay, so I mean like the person that built you to be, what are you most proud of? Because your kids, they're your pride and joy. But like where mwenyewe, who have they made you to be that you're really proud of? That's, I should have specified.
Homebody.
I think they've given me a spirit of like adventure, and it's interesting when we sit at the table and we start having these conversations, and we talk so much about everything, and I feel like personally when you are talking, we have this space where somebody can say anything, regardless of whether they have facts or not.
Oh wow. Shane has been known.
they argue about things I'm actually a specialist in. So I sometimes I'm confused. I'm like, who is the neurobiologist? And who is not? But that's beside the point. My children and my wife, they've brought this other man out of me that.
Aki anakatiza.
Indeed.
Something about it.
I was saying my children and my wife, they've brought out this man out of me because I'm a Meru, so I don't know whether you guys know much about Merus. Merus, we are supposed to have children and the children will belong to us, but to the man, yes. But we're not supposed to do a lot of fathering. We're not supposed to tell our children like, oh, I love you. I love you. It is implied by by giving them a nice piece of roasted meat and
Say that.
So it's part of the process of like the initiation we go through, and the fact that right after initiation you're supposed to go into the warrior clan, and then when you go into the warrior clan you're not supposed to be a child of your parents. You become a child of the community because you're supposed to value the whole community, and that's the only reason you go out and fight for this community and not fear death, because when you're out there you are fighting for everyone, not just for your family or for your friends. And so because we were brought up that way with that perception, we kind of like, even when you get your wife and you get your children, my dad was a very interesting guy. He would just come and sit there and look at me and be like, you had a good day? And I'd be like, yes. And then I'd be like waiting for something else, and I'd be like asking my mom, where's my food? The story is over. Yeah, and that's it. And I know there were times we sat down and he would tell me about fighting for independence and all of these things. And I wouldn't have wanted to grow up during the time they did, because it sounded like a very, very difficult time. But interestingly, it's like every generation has its challenges. So we are the generation that deals with the things that the previous generation did not. And my children, I'm sure, when they have their own families, they'll be dealing with things that we did not deal with. And so it is given upfront and it moves forward. And because the dynamism of society is such that things tend to happen the way they do, we kind of have to elevate ourselves beyond the small things that keep us down and come up. So in short, in brief, my children and my wife have made me a better person. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We love this. Something that I learned is that the most valuable lesson you can give to or pass on to somebody is a lesson that you learned out of lack. Yeah, because the passion that you have giving it is so different than like, oh yeah, I've always had it, so you can have it too. Because that's normal. But like something that you have a history of, like, I lacked this, therefore when I give this to you, it has a whole lot more value than anything else I can give you. So thank you for giving that safe space for your kids, because in turn you get what you got.
Yes.
Yeah. You planted and now you're sowing, which is great.
Amen.
So thank you. All right. Toshi, you're not off the hook. I am. Right now in this season of you being in school, right? You now don't have mom or dad or Tamo or Mike the way you have the consistency throughout your life, right? How are you now dealing with quote unquote aloneness? I know you have them, yes. But like now physically, you've had always mommy, always dad, always, but saizi, like you're alone. How do you deal with that?
To be honest, I don't think I have yet. And same with, because I'm starting college first year. I'm meeting people who are doing the same thing, people from other countries as well, and I don't think anyone has dealt with it yet. We are all, for the most part, very homesick, honestly. And when Koswakmo has been giving us a lot of breaks, it's been nice to go back. I call as much as I can. At first it used to be every day, then final, exam. But for the first few weeks of school was like, you not think about home and it's so fun. Then suddenly like everyone is not only sick, like physically sick, we're all just like, what's happening? But everyone is missing home, and I think it's a process that needs to do itself because we're all growing. We're no longer children anymore, and we're officially like, not only have we moved out to college, but after college, we're not with our parents anymore, and people have been having a hard time with it. So it's a process. I don't think I've dealt with it yet. I know when I go back, I'll say people like, I want to go home. And now I'll have to decide whether I'm going to Mike and Tamwa or to Mama and Mom.
And if you don't choose us, we'll feel sometimes. Where's the tea coming from?
I'm sure the parents will be happier to have me, but yeah, I mean, still very homesick. Hopefully, it'll go away with time. But as of now, I'm still dealing with the fact that being a child is over, you know? Yeah.
He's still our baby. Even during his wedding, I'll be like, that's my baby.
Let me introduce Wairimo.
Yes.
Wairimo, oh my god, you guys have no idea how special each one of us is in this community. We met through Kick. And and another forum. We actually haven't spent much time together, but we are special like that. And she's been sharing also about her journey with her kids, raising kids in America.
Yeah.
We need a minute to cry about it, but yeah, you guys have it. But yeah, we were consoling each other, and you don't know this, but I always just tell people Isaiah 54.
Yeah.
Like that's where all the answers are.
Yeah.
Because I once bumped into that scripture, Isaiah 54, and 13. I will take care of your children, and grace shall be their peace. And that is what gave me peace when I was with the Kina Mike, wondering, am I doing the right thing? You know, will the kids fail under me? When I found that, I was like, oh my God, I don't even have to struggle. And I think that's why we got like really, our heartstrings just tied. And I admire you so much. I love that you're so integrated in the community. I feel like if I had to, I would call on you, and I know you would show up. Yeah. God bless you and your family.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. I had to. I was like, even if I meet you guys walking out, so like I was here. So yeah, my name is Wairimo Mashari, and I'm happy to be here. I don't even think I wanted to know what's in that book, given those conversations I've had with Dutz. I just knew I want the book. Like I up to now I have no clue what it's about. I know you've talked about it earlier before I got here, but also you have a grounding that has stuck. We don't talk, we don't see each other like often. We'll see each other once in a while if there's an event or I have to order a cake, and that was way back. But it's a gift you have, and I'm glad that you've done this. And this is not just for you, you're also awakening procrastinators. So thank you.
Yeah, I actually feel like a lot of people who are getting moved by the fact that I wrote a book are like, we just did it, just before me, because I'm also thinking and procrastinating on doing this. And I feel like everybody is carrying a story, like I said. And once I realized this whole journey wasn't about me, and why I'm meeting particular people abroad is because God wants to show me that they've hurt as much as you. And they've not only been hurt by the journey, but even the people they left.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody you know the African story. If you go there, we are relaxed now. You take care of us, you know. And they don't know what it takes because before you leave and after you eat food, you know the Israelites went to Egypt because of food. You will leave because you're struggling, and then you reach here, you realize God is a provider, first of all. He says, seek the kingdom first and all else will come. So it's not everyone who will come and just, you know, find the money trees to pluck. Some will understand the journey was about the generations before you and the ones that God, you know, is starting or continuing with you. So it's very important that you understand that He's calling you to Himself. That's why He's separating you. And I think that's where we fail, when we're trying so much to get the back, that we forget there's a reason why God separated us from our family, because it's warm there, but it's also very hungry. I mean, there's hunger there.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, so as we are doing, striving to do better for our personal families, let us remember God has a reason why He's calling our families, you know, our family units. Each story is different, but there's a reason why you have the calling you have. That's what I believe.
Yeah, thanks. And just to mention, I was having a conversation with Eunice earlier, and when I think of motherhood, I was telling her, I think motherhood, sometimes with the children specifically, it's like that's a constant measure of your success. How they talk, how they dress, how they interact with each other, what they're eating, how they look. When you look at them, like when you dress them, like when they're younger, and you're thinking it's constantly a measure of your success, but that's when you're operating on lack of self-love, lack of knowledge, lack of knowing who God is, lack of not knowing your purpose. So it's a vicious cycle, and I can't wait to read this book so that it's all these stories together.
Awesome.
I like that you say that also, because that's wanting that success to our children, like we mentioned last time, that's where we become controlling.
Yes.
Because in our minds, our families should look a certain way, and when that is threatened, we're like, I'm dying, because, our ego is tied to that. And that's why, God wants us to let go, so we can have fun also as moms, because He has a good plan for us. A plan for us to prosper.
Alright, so this next part is for literally anybody who has questions for the table, for the family, for Auntie Rita herself. Whatever questions, comments, prayers of blessings as they go, whatever, even if it's just a thank you, whatever you feel like you want to say, it's open for every single one of you, even the family too. If you also want to say something, go on ahead.
And keep ordering food and drinks. Let's stay warm. You want chai? Get chai.
Yeah, get more tea, get more coffee.
Should we get a
Hi.
Michelle, I tea.
Should we get another tray?
We've been running the video, so if it's good, that's on us. Actually, Michelle has been helping too. The parts that suck, that's on her.
Yeah. She's the reason I took the
We confiscated the video, so we can ensure it's high quality.
we're doing the best
To come. Oh shizzle.
mine is old.
Eunice, let me do a thing. Tell me if you remember. We give you all the glory. We worship you, our Lord. You are worthy to be praised. Alafu fanya ile kitu.
We give you all the glory. We worship you alone. You are worthy to be praised. All the the glory, all the honor, all the honor, all the glory, all the honor, all the honor, all the glory. We worship you alone. You are worthy to be praised.
But when she was younger, I would do the altar and she would go,
Nice squeaky voice that.
it was so good. I still remember that. I treasure that. Yeah. So, okay, so the kid song.
You did.
Oh, you know that?
Alright. Auntie has baked cakes for a very long time and we love her cakes. Who has eaten her cakes?
Everybody except KZ.
Welcome to the So I've had the experience of trying to be a baker. It's not an easy task. And the way that cake looks right now, if you all do not appreciate this woman for making that cake,
This is
I
the
don't
worst
even know what
work.
to tell ya.
Because I make books. This looks like, I was like, you'll have to forgive me. It is what it is.
It's
still good.
That's it. Good. But guys, let's clap it Michael, Jesus sees you.
So, I will tell you.
Tosha kwa wapi?
Kama mtu anataka size kubwa, aniambie.
Michael.
Oishe.
Mimi I want to
Yes. Thanks, Mom. High five that one.
Nishamgiva.
That means that they have a work and provide.
Yes.
Tunatangaza leo uwepo wako. The arriving here cake. Even the book looks cakey. Not perfect, but delicious. We thank the Lord. Karibu.